Hey, welcome back. I'm talking about my book, Success and or Failure today. I'm Sheila. Thanks for being here. We're aging joyfully, and this is another one of my booktube-ish posts, videos for you today. So, if you watched my last video on March of the Mammoths, I was reading this. This is how far I got. Here's where I'm at. And there might be a couple spoilers here. So if you don't want any spoilers, skip ahead. But basically, I'm not finishing this book. I'm DNFing it, and I'm going to give you a couple of reasons why. And that might spoil it for you, or it might encourage you to want to read it more. I don't know. And I'm good with whatever. But here's my true feelings about this book. So Jay Kristoff is a male author. We have a male main character. We are hunting vampires in the dark ages, in the dark ages. It's definitely not modern. There's horses and swords and outbuildings and, all of the dark, deep, dark crap that you could imagine. And I don't mind that. I don't mind that. I was, I was like, I can finish this. I can finish this. And the vibe, I'm just going to give you an example of what I think the vibe on this book is like. So I feel like it's fraternities, college fraternities, guys, the way they talk, the way they treat each other, behaviors, characteristics. Like, it's a guy's book. Like I said, Jay Kristoff is a male author. He's writing a guy's book. Again, I don't mind that per se. It is what it is. And I think it's done well. And he's got a good story to tell. And that's the thing. It's like, oh, if I can just push through this guy's book. Because the language, I mean, they make up crazy names to put each other down. It's just a guy. It's like a bunch of guys. And I thought, I can push through this because I really want to find out how this goes down, what happens, the ending of this. And then I saw these two little words right here. I don't know if you can even see it. It says book 1. I'm like, what? So this isn't going to be the end. Even if I pushed through this dude's book, dude's book, there's still 2 more books slated to come out. But this was written in 2021, and on Goodreads, the next one is still, we don't know when it's coming out. So I'm like, there's 2 years for the next one at least, if not longer, 3 years. And then maybe for the third one, another 4 or 5 years. I'm not doing it. I'm not going to push through and wade through the guy's crap and the language. I just did a little burp. And I'm not going to push through that when there's not even going to be a fantastic conclusion, I feel. They're not going to give me the whole story, I feel, because there's still 2 more books to come out. So, I DNF'd this book. Sorry, I cannot do it. I can't. It's just me. It's just me. Maybe I'll get back to it someday. Maybe I won't. Maybe when all of them are out, maybe I will. And maybe when more of you have read it and can give me, hey, was it worth your time to read it vibes, then I might go back to it. But that's just me. I couldn't push through to not have a satisfying ending. And the language is pretty rough, as you could just expect from some frat boys. That's how I picture it. And it's fine. It's necessary for the book. It's necessary for the dark times. I get it. I could have maybe pushed through to find the jewel at the end. And maybe there is a jewel at the end. But it appears like there's 2 more books to come. And I have a hard time with that. So I DNF that for now. I have too many fun books to read. And I just want to chat with you about them quickly. So I finished the Ember and the Ashes series. This is one thing I love about going back 3 or 4 or 5 years on other people's booktubes to get some great recommendations, because usually the series are completed. I've just decided this last 6 months that that's a priority for me. I had to do better. Like with the Empire of the Vampire, I didn't even look. I just got the vibe, and I had the feeling that it was a standalone, and it appears I was incorrect. So I love when I'm like, oh, all 4 books are out and people loved this series and I'm going to read this because all 4 books are out. Like, that makes my heart happy. It's really hard for me to have to wait. So I wanted to talk to you about a couple of other series that I actually do love that are completed. That I'm going to, one I have completed, and one I'm in the middle of completing, but at least the series is complete. Look how cute those are. Like I said, I don't buy books because they're cute, but these don't hurt to look at, you know. So these Hollow Vows and these Twisted Bonds. I highly recommend this little duology. It's YA. It's got fairies and humans and a very similar trope, I guess, that's in a lot of books, but it wasn't in a lot of books for me because I haven't read a lot of fairy books. This was kind of my first taste, actually, of recent fairy books, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the twists, the turns. I enjoyed how it came together at the end. I enjoyed, there was a little, what do they call it? Where there's two guys after the same girl. Sorry, there's 2 guys after the same girl, and she had to figure out how that was, who she wanted, who she loved, who was the best guy for her. I liked that. Different kingdoms, a dark kingdom, a light kingdom, but are they really dark and are they really light? Is one better than the other? I love how this came together. So Lexi Ryan and this duology worked for me, and I highly recommend it if you haven't read too much fairy human interaction lately. And then this beautiful little trilogy is completed as well. And I love that. So it starts out with The Shadow of the Fox by Julie Kagawa. I read these, I got these at the library, and I did read this first one, and I loved it. So I knew I wanted to buy it. And this little trilogy was so cute, and it wasn't super expensive on Amazon, and I really needed to own it. So finished the first one. I'm now on the second one. The other thing I like about a series that maybe was a little bit older, maybe 5 years ago, I love, you can get them for a little bit cheaper usually if you can find them. And audiobook. I'm not a big, huge audiobook person. I really like to read. I like to have the book in my hand. If I love it, I want it in my hands. I want to smell it. I want it on my shelf. I love reading, and I read pretty quick, and I can, I love putting my feet up at night and reading a book. So right now, though, with these, because they're a little bit older, you can get them on the Libby app without waiting because they're a little bit older. So I have the audiobook as well for when I go to the gym and I walk on that treadmill and such. I can listen to it, but then at night, I will come home and read it. So I'm doing a little bit of both, a little bit of back and forth. And I'm going to be doing more of that because I'm going to the gym more and I'm walking on a treadmill. So I definitely want to be able to have those headphones in and be able to listen while I'm working out. That's so much more fun than just listening to music, just listening to the goings-ons of the gym. I love having the audiobook, but I still need the book because I'm still going to read it as well. So I highly recommend this cute little trilogy. The Shadow of the Fox is an Asian-inspired quest where you have a lot of different misfits come together to go on this journey. You've got a little bit of magic system for sure. This little gal has some fox in her, and that's all I'm going to say. And there's some antics, and there's some, it's kind of high stakes, end of the world kind of stuff. And I'm really excited to be finishing this series. The second one, like I said, right in the beginning of that one. So why would I, this is where I'm at. Why would I push through a book that isn't really quite my taste and my norm and my style? I think about pushing through because I'm like, I can change it up a little bit. I could try something new and different. I'm an open-minded gal, but it just wasn't, didn't really make my heart happy. It was intriguing. I really would like to know, like, I might even like somebody to just tell me how it ends. I'd like to know how it ends. I'd like to know how it comes together, but I'm not going to plow through that. It's a little dark. It's a little hard for me. That's not what I'm looking for right now. So I'd much rather have, this was as dark as you could get. Well, no, this is as dark as I want to get. It had some torture and some people that died, and people, it was sad, and there were some ups and downs, and it was rough, it was rough. But one thing I loved about this Ember in the Ashes series is the language wasn't just F this and F that. They would come up with more creative swear words, which I love. Like, they would be like, 10 hells to the skies, and I'm like, I know that they're meaning like, oh, skies. Oh, I know what they mean. That's their swear words and stuff. And I love when people get creative with their swear words, because I know sometimes we need a swear word. And I kind of just like when it's a little more sweetly, cleverly, innocently done, rather than just listening to the F word all the time. Not that I can't handle it now and then, but I don't want to handle it. I don't want to have to. It didn't really make my soul happy. And if like, I read books to be happy. I read books for the end of the day to have fun and enjoy. And so sometimes it's good to stretch yourself and try something new. My sweet friend, so I gave this first book to a couple of my friends for Christmas. And I'm going to just show you this. Okay, here's the first. First three are paperback. I got the last one in hardback. That's how it goes sometimes. It's annoying. That's how it goes. And I'm not going to buy a whole new set or the most expensive book just to make sure they're all exactly the same. But when I gave this to my friend, she didn't say it right off. But after she started reading it and loving it, she was like, when I saw the cover, I thought, oh, this is going to be kind of juvenile and maybe stupid and ridiculous. Like, she wasn't impressed with the cover. And sometimes that's just the truth. So we can't judge a book by its cover. We all know that. But I was thankful that she trusted me and she pushed through and read this first book like really quick, because I don't mind the cover or in the book itself. It's just not that fancy. It's pretty simple, and it's to the point. Like, who these people are once you start reading. But it is a pretty simple book cover series, and maybe you wouldn't pick it out at a bookstore because it didn't draw your attention and be really flashy like some of these others. But this 4-book series was so good, and I highly recommend jumping on this if you get the chance. I really wondered how the ending was going to come together. It was very epic, and I was satisfied with the ending. And it was different than I thought it was going to be. I didn't know how it was going to happen, but I was satisfied. And that's what I need with an ending. I need to be satisfied and feel good about it. So highly recommend getting this series. I want you to read it. I feel like you should just trust me and jump in if you're looking for a fun, epic fantasy. Fun. I hate to say the word fun too, because it broke my heart a bit. There was some hard parts. It was painful, so maybe not just fun, but worth reading. It was good, worth reading. Jump on it. Just do it. And then these, of course, super fun. So there's my failure for the month of March, but I'm jumping back into things that I have and I love, and I finished, and I'm going to finish. And I highly recommend getting a good book. And if you want to, anybody wants to give me the final result or the finish the story for me on Empire of the Vampire, I'll take that too. Thanks so much, and I'll be back shortly. See you soon.